Hello, hello, hello. I am Minister Sharon Brumfield, and you're watching Let's Chat. On Let's Chat, we transform our beliefs, our behaviors, and the way we see barriers. I have an amazing guest with me today. I have Renea Linson. She's going to join us today and talk about creativity and the entrepreneur. So go ahead and tell us about yourself. Let everybody know, who you are, what you do, and just share a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am very, very excited to be here. And my name is Renea Linson. I am from Akron, Ohio. I live in North Carolina now, but I'm an only child of two baby boomers, a musician and a singer. So I have a little bit of, I like to call a renaissance in me because I love to sing. I love to write. So I got a little bit of both from both of my parents. So I am first, I am a woman of God, but I am also a writer. So that's my purpose. So I'm
Okay,
happy to be here.
awesome. And I met you on TikTok. I
Yes.
posted something. I'm not. I can't. I think it was a question or something, and you popped on and answered it. And then what you said. I'm like, she might be a good guest on Let's Chat. And you graciously agreed to come and be a part of
Absolutely.
the show, and so thank you so much for that. I
Absolutely.
think about social media and how you can meet new people, how you can make new connections, you can make partners, you can just discover the world through social media. And so I'm super excited that you were able to come and join me for Let's Chat today. So, when we were talking back and forth through email, and I just asked, tell me a little bit about yourself. You said something that really sparked my interest. You said you were born a creative person. Tell us more about
Mhm.
that.
You know, I really think that has a lot to do with my parents because I'm not sure I would be a creative person if it wasn't my father. He loved writing plays for church. My mother being a singer and studying, she was classically trained. So she knew how to read music. There was a lot of creativity that both of them had. And I found myself loving to write at a very early age. It was just something that I was like, oh, I love to do it. It brought me a lot of peace. And I'm just grateful because they both very artistic in their own ways. And I was like, wow. And I got to kind of sop all of that up. I guess you could say with a biscuit. I got to sop all of that and just be like, woo. And that brought me a lot of clarity about things. It brought me just another perspective in looking at things, just because I'm like, well, it's not everything is not necessarily black and white, but I learned a lot from my parents. A lot. Oh boy. A lot.
I could see that you have a respect and love for your parents, and two, they brought you up in a nurturing environment where you were able to tap into their creativity. Do you think that your environment played a big part in what you do?
Absolutely. Because I remember in school I learned about nature versus nurture. And even though I believe that both have a huge part in the people that we become, but those first 18 years that you are at home, I'm just saying, I mean, it could be longer, but those first 18 years that you're at home, you learn how to deal with the world. You learn how to, through the eyes of your parents. And I'm grateful that even though some things I learned by knowing what not to do, I still learned by seeing. I learned a lot from them, which is really good because I had a pretty good head on my shoulders at 18. So I'm grateful. I'm really grateful.
Awesome, awesome. Everyone doesn't get the opportunity. What my daughter talks about is the jackpot parents. She often says she hit the jackpot with her dad and I. Everybody doesn't get that opportunity, but as we grow and develop, we get to find our way. And then at some point, we can't blame our parents. At some point we have to say, okay, that's what it was. Now let me move forward. And so even in an opportunity where your parents nurture you and build you up and show you different experiences, even in that, you still find your way at some point to see, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. So that's amazing. You're able to share that with us. So when you think about creativity, tell us your definition of creativity.
Allowing yourself to flow. You have to allow yourself to flow. One of the things that I love about being a writer is I take my hands off of it and I just allow myself to be. I just if it's an idea I'm thinking of, I'm like, okay, let's go all the way with it. Let's see what happens. If I don't like it, that's one thing. But at least I've given myself that freedom to just go as far as I want to go. Don't put any restrictions on yourself when you're being creative. Just flow with it and take your hands off of it and just allow yourself to flow. I love that. I don't be like, oh, I have to write this how many pages and all this. I'm like, no, I'm just going to, okay. If the 10 pages doesn't come that first day, it's okay. It'll come the next time. If I get 2, then I'm still good. Have to allow it.
Yeah, I agree. I believe that creativity is allowing yourself to flow. And many of us will put those expectations, I got to get the 10 pages done today. I got to do this. But when you just flow, you may get 20 pages.
Right.
When you just flow, you don't know what's going to come out of you. And it could be the next book. You can get an idea for the next book as you're writing, or, poetry as you're writing, and just letting yourself flow and write or type or talk, think it through. But when we put those restrictions on, then now we're anxious or nervous or stressed. And in those type of environments, I cannot be creative. I've got to let myself be in a relaxed state so that I can flow. So what's your idea environment for writing?
Well, we have a 2-bedroom. And so I'm in this room right here. I call it my creative room. So a lot of times I will come in here. I come in here really to pray. I come in here to read. I come in here to write. And my husband knows, and it's so funny. My husband knows when my door is closed, he's like, oh, Renee's in there creating, or Renee is in there doing her meditation. If it's early in the morning, he's like, okay. So I come in here, I have my laptop up, I have my ring light on just in case I need to do some content, but I'm just in a zone. So it's very peaceful in here. I don't really have a whole lot of stuff in here. It's just, I have like a little ottoman I sit on, and I'm just like, okay, all right. But I know when I come in here, I have the energy. It's already, if it's in the afternoon, I've already meditated. So the room is already ready for me to do what I need to do. But if it's early in the morning, it's like, all right, Renee, it's time to meditate. It's time to get your day started. But it's very peaceful in here. One day I'll get, probably like a fish tank or something, but I'll keep it very minimum and probably get a desk, but it'll be just something that is relaxing to me, probably a lavender scent and very relaxed. But I love this room. It's very cool, very relaxing. I need to be relaxed when I'm writing, because if I'm not relaxed, then I'm like, or if I come in here and I'm stressed, I can't really write because I'm like, because I'm already upset about something and that doesn't work.
Yeah. And the whole idea of writer's block, not being able to flow when you're writing, or even it could be any creative process. It could be, singing, dancing, creative movement, all of those things. If we're not able to release and flow, this is going to get backed up at some point. And so having that space, I have this space right here, and this is a multi-use space, but it's my creative space. It's where I come in to create content. It's where I come in to pray. It's where I come in to write. It's where I come in just to sit and think. So, having that specific space that we can use and utilize is my study space. And so,
Yes.
knowing where we can do our best work is that space that we can create for ourselves. And so when we were talking back and forth, and I was asking, what's your business and what do? You said that your vision for your business is to help churches and counselors get their brands elevated and teach upcoming writers about the business. So elaborate on that vision.
When I first started Freedom Air, I had really no clue. I had no clue the people I wanted to work with. I just said businesses. And then I thought, well, who I am at my core is a woman of faith. That's who I am. Mm-hmm. And when I think about in a community that is also underserved, it is our leaders in church. It's also our counselors. They need some help as well. A lot of people need to be poured into, but they also need someone to pour into them. Yes. And my life started as a woman of faith, and God growing me and helping me to write and helping me to do so many things. I need to give that back to the household of faith. So I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm about legacy. And I'm not always going to be here as much as, I could say, yeah, I'm going to live to be 110. That may not happen. And I have to get ready for the next generation coming up behind me. Just like the generation ahead of me was like, those millennials are coming. We better get ready for them because they are force. And I know my generation is, but this generation coming up behind me, they need someone to show them the ropes. Someone that is going to be like, okay, I'm going to mentor you. This is what you need to do. Something that I just believe that it needs to happen. It needs to happen. And if no one's going to do it, or if no one's like, I'm not the person for it, I'm going to step up to the plate and be like, okay, it's going to be me. All right. Because it needs to happen. It's not a question of, do I want to do it? It needs to happen. And since I said it needs to happen, it may as well be me to do it.
All right. And when you talk about giving back to the next generation when it comes to church leaders, counselors, and that sort of thing, what kind of services do you provide for them?
Well, as a writer, I do books as well as blogs and things of that nature. But I also am working on. They should have their own Sunday school book, not necessarily having to go to another company to do that. Let's make a Sunday school book or a devotion for your church. I mean, I have we have the Word of God, and we could do that, and they could have something of their own that they created, and they'd be like, okay, this is going out to our church, and this is what we're going to do.
Oh, that's very good, because that's something that my pastor does for our small groups. He creates devotionals for us so that they go along with our vision, to reach, build, and serve. They go along with what he's teaching. And that's great that you're able to provide that service for a ministry that may not be able to do that, and they're going outside to purchase Sunday school small group materials. So that's
Right.
awesome. That's
And you
awesome.
and you have to meet the needs of your, not everyone is at the same level. So one thing that I loved as a teenager, I had a teen study Bible. And I loved my teen study Bible because it gave different um it took like the different lessons in the Bible, but it made it to where a teenager could be able to understand it. And I really loved it because I was like, oh, okay, this is like this. And it made me be like, oh wow, okay. It wrote it for me, well, at the time as a teenager. So you need to meet the needs of, even if someone is 15 years old or 60 or 80 years old, that it would fit them where they are at. So that's what
Exactly,
also I'm going to
exactly.
do as
Now you
well.
also okay, go ahead. I apologize. I cut you
No,
off.
I'm sorry. I was done. Well, you said something. What'd you say?
Okay. I was asking about elevating brands, and that was something else that you offer to help elevate a person's brand. And do you do that through writing scripts? How do you elevate a brand of a particular business or entrepreneur?
One thing that I say is that people need to be coming to you for your business. If you are okay, if you are a whatever you are doing in business, they need to be coming to you. So I believe that writing is a great way. I love to go on websites and I'm like, okay, why should I be buying from you? What do you know about what it is that I'm looking for? Because I need some help. But if I don't see anything, I'm like, but if I hear or if I read something, I'm like, oh, okay. All right. First step, I need to read. Next step, okay. What are reviews saying? I am so like that when I go to different websites and to look at why should I purchase this or why should I need to talk to you, because you need to have some kind of a trail. And so you need to have some kind of write up, some type of write up on your website or on your on your website, or if you have a landing page, hey,
Mhm.
have something where someone can read, or they can get a mailing list so they can read about who you are. And that only helps to elevate your brand. That only helps for people to be like, okay, Minister Sharon knows what she's talking about. I need to find out more about what she's doing, and I need to get in there. And
Right.
so that's what I do is elevation. It needs to happen, and it happens in writing. It happens in you having something on your website that people can be like, okay, I can bank on this. This person knows something. They know what it is they're talking about, and I need to be there knowing
Mhm.
what they know, and they need to be helping me.
Right. Right. Now, like I said earlier, we met on TikTok. Tell us about
Yes.
your platform. Are you on YouTube, um, Instagram, Facebook, or you're just a TikTok person? Tell us about your social media presence.
I am on every bit of social media, and
Okay.
it's really weird because a friend of mine said you should get a TikTok, Renee, and I was like, and I was like, no, that's for younger people, and I was like, that's not me. But then she's like, Renee, you could read some of your blogs and you could put it on there, and I was like, so I got one and started, and then I just kind of got crazy with it and just started doing everything. And but then I was like, okay, who are you? Because I'm an encourager. I'm, as much as I'm a writer, I'm an encourager. So I got on and was like, okay, I'm just gonna encourage people. And now I'm like, well, you're a writer, Renee. So now it's starting to grow as I'm growing. So
Okay.
I do have a YouTube channel. I put a couple videos on there. I put some keynotes that I've been blessed to do on my YouTube. So I'm getting on all of them. I'm just learning to be more consistent with my YouTubes, with my LinkedIn, with my I even have a threads, need growing more consistent with those because I've
Okay.
been consistent, pretty consistent with Facebook and Instagram
Okay.
and TikTok, but I'm working on the other ones. Okay.
All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, I want you to share your, YouTube handles and Instagram. So if someone wants to connect with you, they can find you. All right. So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
This Easter, as the world awakens with new life and vibrant colors, we invite you to rediscover the eternal hope that Easter brings. Join us here at Jericho Church Without Walls, 8086 North 76th Street here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, for a special Easter service we like to call H2O. Yep, that's right, H2O, Hope to Overcome. Is a celebration of hope, renewal, and transformative power of the resurrection. Come and experience a message of hope, uplift your spirits, renew your faith, and bring our community closer together. But our journey doesn't end with Easter Sunday. As we embrace the hope that Jesus offers, we also recognize the need to extend the helping hand. That's why we invite you to return on the following week, another special service dedicated to help. There will be some free giveaways that we hope will help as a beacon of support and show our love to those around us as we reflect on the love and compassion of Christ. So join us for our H2O service as we go from hope to help. Let us embark on this spiritual journey together. Again, come be a part of our H2O Easter celebration and discover the difference that hope and help can bring. H2O Sunday, where faith flows and lives are transformed. Can't wait to welcome you here. Be blessed.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I have a special guest with me today. This is Renea Linson, and she's here talking about just the creativity of the entrepreneur and how being in an environment of creativity has blessed her to continue her life as a creative person. And now she's just sharing her social media platforms with us. So if you want to connect with her, she's already shared how she connects with counselors and churches to encourage through writing. So if they need devotionals, if they need some type of help elevating who they are, she is the person to connect with. So go ahead, Renea, and let us know how they can connect with you.
You can feel free. I am Queen Reliable Renea on all of my social media platforms. I was really proud of myself when I did that. I'm Queen Reliable Renea on all my social media platforms, as well as you can always hit me up through email at Queen Reliable Renea at gmail.com. So you can feel free to email me. And sorry, my name is spelled a little differently, Renea. So yeah, make sure you don't put EE and think it's going to make it to me. It's not. So Queen Reliable Renea, Renea. So I love to spell things correctly. So I can't do the other stuff. I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm weird.
No, that's okay. Writers are like that, especially those who are focused on making sure things have right punctuation, editors and things like that. They do not play when it comes to spelling things correctly. So that's not weird at all. It's actually awesome that you have that gift and you're able to, make sure that things are spelled correctly. And so before we close out tonight, any tips you want to give to upcoming writers, how to get started? Is it get your first book out? Is it just begin to journal? What are some steps for a young writer or someone who's not so young and want to get started with their writing, getting creative with their writing?
I would just mention I didn't start by saying I'm going to write a book. I actually just started blogging. I started that first, and then it just went into this big emphasis. I was like, oh my goodness! But just start. Do not, and I'll say it like this: do not create problems in your mind about, like, I don't know if I'm up to snuff. There is none of that. Just start. One of the greatest things that I'm happy to say is when I thought about writing a blog, and I went to my fiance at the time and I said, I'm thinking about writing a blog. And he said, you should do it. Go for it. And I took it and ran with it. Even if he wasn't there to support, I still was like, I want to do this. It was in me. So if there's something in you, don't tell everybody, because not everyone is going to want you to win. But I will say, go out there and push for it, because you never know where it's going to lead. And there's somebody that needs to hear what you have to say. And only you can do it. So I'm waiting for you. I want to read some of your stuff, but I can't read any of it if you don't step out there. Right. I need to read you. I need to read your stuff. I might need to be encouraged one day, mister. I may need some encouragement. Because sometimes people that encourage, they need some encouragement as well. Exactly. Sometimes Renee needs some help, but you have to go out there. Don't allow anyone to get in your way. Just start. You will learn as you go. You'll continue to get better and better, but you won't know until you start.
Till you start. Yes. Now, before we, when we first started talking, one of the characteristics you said that you were a woman of faith. So how does your faith keep you moving forward? How does it encourage you? How does it keep you going when things don't turn out the way you want them to turn out? What does faith, what type of role does faith play in your life?
Faith is, this is so crazy what I'm about to say. Faith is like, my mother used to have a Jericho and she had activator. Faith is activator to your life. There are times where I went out and decided to do my writing business full time. I decided to do it. So I'm going to quit my job. This is what I'm going to do. And when I said that I was going to do that, and when I finally did it, everything came at me. And I looked up and I said, sometimes I don't have the finances for this or for this. But I said, and I believe that God has said, okay, Renee, this is your season. You need to do this. Yeah. That's when my faith comes in, because I know that even though I don't have all of the answers, but I know that God does, and God has never led me astray. So that means I have to trust the process. Yeah. I have to stop stressing, let the blood flow within my fingers and the rest of my body. Right. And I just have to believe that, you know what, I've never had to go without. I've always been able to do what God has asked me to do. And even in this, God is going to continue to do it. He's never left me behind. So I have to, that faith is necessary for me because it helps me to keep going. It doesn't always feel good, because sometimes where I'm not crying myself to sleep, but sometimes where I'm like, Lord, that I needed this yesterday, but it's the season that I need to go through it, because it's not necessarily for me. It's for somebody else that needs to know, like, okay, I'm going to go out here, I'm going to do it, and this is what's going to happen. So God's got me, and that helps me to keep going, because Lord knows I would I would have lost my mind, and I've only been really unemployed for a month, maybe a month and a half now, and it's been trying.
Mhm.
However,
Mhm.
God is still good, and I noticed that God will open doors here and there. A bill will be less than it was, so I have a little bit, and I'll be like, okay, God, I see God's hand moving in so many different things. So hey, God is like my activator, and I'm grateful.
Okay.
I'm so grateful. I'm grateful. And I get to meet wonderful people like you. So that lets me know that I'm on the right track, because I wouldn't have got a chance to meet you
Right.
because I would have been at work at those times. I wouldn't have even been on social media. So
Okay.
this happened for a reason. So
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. Faith is like activator, the whole Jerry Curl analogy. I absolutely love that. And it's so true. When we believe God, especially as entrepreneurs getting started, getting out here, getting on social media, trying to make an impact in the lives of people while creating a business for ourselves, for our livelihood. I couldn't do the things that I do without God. I
that's
wouldn't
right.
have the courage to go out. I wouldn't have the boldness to step out. So, like you said, it's that activator. It's what keeps us going. It's what puts that pep in our step. It's what keeps us getting back on and doing another blog or doing another show or doing another live, opening up our mouths and sharing our testimony and stories with somebody else. So exactly, that is exactly
Absolutely.
true. Exactly true. And so, Renee, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on Let's Chat today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule and out of your day to spend a few minutes with me and spending time with the viewers and encouraging them to be the creative people that God designed us to be. And so,
Amen.
if you have any closing remarks, any closing words you want to share before we close out today?
I would just say that every time that you make one move, every time you make one step, God makes two. All it takes is the faith to make that one step. That's all you need. And when you make that one step, believe me, the next three are already done. So you find yourself just walking into blessings just because you took that first step. So make that first step on today, and I want to see you at the top, not from the top. We're going to be at the top.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much, Renee, for joining me on Let's Chat. And remember, on Let's Chat, we transform our beliefs, we transform our behaviors, and we transform the way we see barriers. You guys have an amazing rest of your day and be blessed. We'll talk to you all soon.